Okay, we're going to start with a cover now. This is a piece of black chipboard, and we're going to cut 3 pieces out of this chipboard: a front cover, a back cover, and a spine. Now the covers we're going to have a little bit larger than our bags, which are 8 inches. So I want 1/4 of an inch above and 1/4 of an inch below. So I'm going to cut these at 8.5 inches. And I'm using my other trimmer so that the blade in my original one stays sharp. Okay, that's 8.5. And now we're going to cut them 5 inches. Because the bag is 4 3/4. One. And this is going to be covered, so this little stringy there won't show. Two. There's the front and the back, and now we're going to use this piece that we're going to cut to 2 5/8. And I think that's just so I can leave enough room. I'm going to cut it at 8 inches first. 8.5, sorry. Okay, and 2 5/8. I'll go this way. Okay. There's the front cover, back cover, and the spine. Okay? Now we need to cover them So I have some black paper, 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11. And we have to overlap them because it's not wide enough. Even if you use 12 by 12, you'd still have to overlap. So what I'm going to do is take one of these, well, there is a beginning. Here it is. And I'm going to make 2 rows. I should get out my 1/2 inch, but I didn't. I have to get my blade out. My make-believe nails aren't too thick to separate this. Well, it isn't really all that difficult. Or it shouldn't be. Here we go. Nope. Yep. 1, 2, now we'll have our spine, a front cover, and a back cover. Alright, so we're going to start by putting the spine on. Now you don't want the spine, the edge of it, to be right by the seam. You want it to kind of overlap the seam, okay? So I'm going to put some tape on the back of the spine here. And I have some big tape. Maybe. Okay. I'm going to try to get this somewhat centered, top to bottom. Okay. Now we'll do the back cover or the front cover, whichever. Now you need to leave a little bit of a space between them. Usually it's about 2 thicknesses of the chipboard that you're using. So if I take 2 pieces of chipboard, I should be able to get about the space that I need. Well, now let's see. We're going to go about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Now I'm going to do the next one, and I'll be back when it's on. Now we need to miter the corners. sticky. There you go. Nice sharp corners. Okay, the last part about building a cover is creating an inside flap here that just reinforces the middle of this where your binding is going to go. So I have another piece of black paper, and this is 8.5, so I'm going to cut 8.25, and probably about 8 inches the other direction. So let's cut this to 8.25. Okay. And probably about 8 inches in this direction. That's going to be just perfect. So let's get some tape on it. I put tape down. This is the 2 seams where the binding is. The okay. Oh, I have to tell you a story. I think we have a very fat Bambi walking around here because he ate all of my tomato and pepper plants. Oh well, we're going to put another section of fence up in the back, which will then actually fence in the whole backyard. And it probably isn't worth planting until until we have that. But I went out this morning to look, and I said, whoops, they're all gone. But I will tell you, he doesn't like green beans. So I won't be picking any tomatoes for a while. And we'll have to see when we're going to do the fence. We weren't going to really do it probably this year, and so I might not bother trying to plant anything. Until I've got the fence up. There's only so many things you can do at one time when you move in to a house. It stuck to my finger. Alrighty. You want to make sure you get good tape on this, because otherwise when you go to open the book, it'll buckle up. Now I'm going to go in these creases. I'm just going to see where it is. Let's see where it is. And just easy, ever so easy. Don't want to rip the paper, just kind of breaking the fibers. And there you go. And there's our cover. I do have the paper picked out for the cover. Let me show you. Isn't this cute? I figured, seeing as it was about fixing up a room, go this way, that having all of these tools on it would be good. Oop. And then this one over here. And this one over here. Now that's without any further embellishments that we will do. Let me get some glue. And I like using the wet glue when I'm trying to put these papers on, because it gives you just a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm going to do it while the book is out flat here, so that I can get them even going across. This is measuring tape. I have this in my stash. I think it came from Stampin' Up. I'm not sure. It was to use to make cards, mail cards. So there you go. Here's our book. And we'll put some embellishments on it later. So the next thing we're going to do for the next video is to put paper on our pages. And then we'll work on the hinge. So I'll be back for volume 3. See you in a bit.